Hello, welcome to a tour of one of my servers, which is the Update SMP. And the whole idea of this SMP is that we have one world and we're all in survival and we update it through all the versions of Minecraft. Well, at least the relevant ones. So in this video, I'm going to tour you around the world and I'm going to show the history of this world. We're currently on release 1.7.4, so we've still got a long way to go. So the first location is obviously the spawn point. Now this is done in the air, and it's kind of like a water drop thing going down. This whole spawn area is a big work in progress, and I built this entire mushroom island, all custom, myself. This used to be a lake, and the whole spawn area is currently under massive development. But there was a time where I put a glass roof to try and stop the water from freezing. I've now got this to stop it. But everyone was spawning up on the top of the glass roof, and it was a pretty fun dropper to drop down into this water, so I decided, why not have the spawn point be that? Now when people join, you often just fall to the death. So yeah, obviously this is all a big work in progress, but this whole mushroom island is pretty much done. There's a few holes from Enderman, they're very pesky. Now perhaps the only finished thing here is a spawn lake, and this is probably the only time I've seen Netherrack look good in the build. It really complements like the red mushrooms and the mycelium. It just makes it look more mushroomy, I guess. But this is really nice to look at, especially from the spawn point. And over here, we got bushes with cactus in a pot with leaves on top, because you can't place sugarcane on mycelium, which is very annoying. I think Minecraft should change that. Also, add mycelium grass. Why is that not a thing? Now, the first base we're going to look at is right off the spawn point. This is Thick Boy's base. Interesting username. And it's this massive industrial... I don't know, this like... It looks like it's going to walk around the map. It's really cool. I'm going to get inside there. It's kind of a pain getting up, so I'll just cut to it. This base was pretty much all built in beta 1.4. Which is different to the spawn point, because the spawn point is a recent addition to this area, as it is built in, I think 1.4 to 1.6. But this up here used to be the old beta build height. So this kind of stopped the build, but it looks like it's meant to go to this height. And the reason why I had to build a massive custom island for the spawn point was because the spawn point used to be over there, but in beta 1.9, the spawn point broke and reset to 0, which was a lake. And only recently I've decided to go with this mega project of doing this build. I still need to place some torches, it seems. But this mega base, Thick Boy's mega base, is amazing. The next area is this massive arena. Now I started work on this, I think in beta 1.5. The whole inside is pretty much complete. The floor needs changing though. But the outside is still a work in progress. And here is the Valley of Wheat. This is also a massive big work in progress, but this is where the shopping district is planned to be. And over there you can see Kaiser's Bone Store, which he built in beta 1.8. And also someone's house. I think that's going to be like... I can't remember what they said, but this was built by Isaac and he said it's going to be a library, which is a super neat idea. But if we head over this way, past the wheat, this whole area is going to be wheat eventually. Because this place used to be a desert, and I don't really like desert grass. Over here you can see something that looks quite odd, which is a chunk out of the terrain that appears to be newer terrain generation, because all this area here is beta. But this was the old spawn point, and as I described before, the spawn point moved from here to 0. And the history behind this place was that it used to be a massive cobblestone lava cast thing, well cobblestone. The lava's all cleared up. And that was because before 1.4, you could not edit the spawn point. Only operators can. And on this server, everyone has like equal footing. So there's no people with like op or anything. So we couldn't edit it, so the only way we could edit it is putting water and lava in there. But when 1.4.7 came around, use a jukebox exploit that allowed you to place a jukebox, and if you broke it, it would reset the chunk. So that's how we did this area. It got rid of the cobblestone, which was quite an eyesore, but Very interesting. Also, die too young. There's a zombie pigman trapped in here with diamond armor, I believe. It's gone now. Down this way, you can see a railway, which at a glance has nothing special about it. But this was built in the very first days of the server in beta 1.1. And this leads us to Crumbletown, which is the next location we'll go to. Welcome to Crumbletown. This was the town that everyone used to live in beta, or at least most people. And it used to have all trees, vibrant green grass, bushes everywhere. Oh wait, that's not how it looks now. It's all mushroomy. And that's because eventually a snowstorm came when we upgraded to beta 1.8. Snow made the grass all dingy, got rid of all the vegetation, froze the ice, it broke the wheat. It even landed on water, it destroyed the railway over there. And everyone eventually moved out, so I've took it upon myself to convert it to a mushroom because then you can't see the grass. And I built a massive glass roof to stop snow falling on here. I still got some mushroom work to do over here. But you can still see the original build from this beta place, and it's pretty much been untouched since, other than the mushrooms. This house here is what I built day 1 in beta 1.1. It's very, very old school. It was built in a cave. It used to be wheatier, and the doors have got all glitched up now. But I used this place for a very long time, and there's some triple chests here. It's very interesting. I still take items in and out of here sometimes. Down here is a basement that I also built in beta 1.1. And this was built using the very limited block palette I could choose from. So I got mossy cobblestone, I got bricks, and I got very glitchy chests, but this was my main storage system for a while. And I got lava flowing for lighting. I think it's pretty cool down here. I never really finished the second floor though. But up here I have a illegal items, like containment place. I've got quadruple chests, I got a monster spawner in here. 64 fishing rods. These broke off, but I think it used to be floating pressure plates. Floating railers here. That lever is no longer interesting, but it used to be. Weird floating button. Infinite burning furnace and a very long bed. And just over there, that was just my brewing setup. I mentioned prior that this town took a massive hit from a snowstorm. But it took a second hit in Minecraft 2.0. Yeah, Minecraft 2.0 was actually a version, an April Fool's version that got released after 1.5.1. We decided to play that, but there was a side effect that it'd break all the torches. So a lot of the torches in this build have been removed and never put back. I'm now going to quickly skim through all the builds in this town, and I'm going to do it very quickly because there's a lot here, so let's get started. This here is Living Computer's house. This is Molnia's house. I hope I said the name correctly. Qexeton's house. I definitely said that username wrong. This is Xrup's house. Built in very early beta at the start of the server. That giant build there going across the hill is Wyvern's house. That I renovated for him back in beta 1.7. This is Pedro's community deposit that seems to have been tanked by a creeper. That's not too good. And this build below Wyvern's place is the Crumbletown community deposit. And basically everyone put their items in here. And it'll be shared amongst the town. It's a nice community thing, I guess. And this is Pedro's house. Followed by... I can't remember their username. They've not been on for a while. And there's no sign, so... Can't blame me for that one. This is Never Rain PL's house. Which is mostly just a wheat farm. Is interesting. We've also got this big wall built by me in early beta. Them iron blocks are a pain to get in them versions. And we've got the Nether portal area, which has a really nice Nether interior built by Molnia. As well as an enchanting table. So that is it for the interior of the town. If you've had a keen eye, you would notice that there's spawner blocks all around the area. And these were collected in beta 1.9 pre-release 4, when you can still touch spawners. So that's why there's a bunch of spawners around here. It's also worth a mention down here is an underground area to the town that's all unlit from 2.0. I don't think anyone's been down here for possibly months. But down there, you can't really see because of the fog, but there's a massive mob grinder, which sadly no longer works. Here's a closer look to the mob grinder. I bet there's still items in some of these chests. There's just random signs everywhere now. I don't even know who's placed them. Going outside Crumble Town, you can see some of the other builds. You can see the dock area, which used to be able to have boats go through, but then all the ice appeared from the snowstorm and the wheat got destroyed. There's a castle here that I also started building in beta 1.5, around the same time as the arena, but I never finished it, so don't look at the back. Near the back of the castle, there's also a few builds, such as this house, and also one that way that goes into the hill. This also shows the damage that the snow did. This was the railway, and this was a nice green, lush foresty area, but now it's just dead with snow. Going back to the front of the castle, you can see a statue that I built of myself, and an Enderman seems to have nicked my nose. It's made out of clay. I might need to fix that. Coming away from Crumble Town would lead you across this bridge over that way to other people's bases. But I first want to show the bedrock pile we have here. And this was done by making Endermans move bedrock in beta 1.8 pre-release 1 or 2. It works in both versions. But now there's a pile of bedrock here for no reason. Across the bridge, there's a massive hole. And I dug this all out in beta 1.7, and then at the bedrock, when we upgraded to beta 1.8 pre-release 1, there was an exploit that if you grew a big mushroom on bedrock, it would replace it with dirt. So me and a bunch of others spent so many hours breaking mushrooms to break the bedrock. It took way too long. But it's here now, and it's here to stay. Next base we're looking at is Brick Dylan's place. This place has pretty much been untouched since beta 1.3, I believe. Maybe beta 1.4. But this area is massive and amazing, and it's all enclosed in some amplified beta terrain. Brick Dylan did a really good job building this. The little market area. There's their main house there. Bunch of wheat farms. And I really like this design that's going on. I assume it's like Japanese or something. The whole bridge coming across here. And the amount of effort put into this in such a small amount of time, because this is like 3 weeks worth of work, is amazing. If it did play up to beta 1.3. It might be a little bit later, but I know there's no nether portals. So it has to be before beta 1.6. This terrain, definitely something. Next up is COVID-19 Steve's base, and they've got a massive wall, and they've got a lovely house. This place was partly affected by the snowstorm, but the thing that affected COVID-19 Steve the most is probably the Endermans. They ripped apart his wall. You can just see it everywhere, and out there is a forest that's just been decimated by Endermans. And that's because in beta 1.8 they used to be able to pick up any block, which caused a lot of damage on the server. This is Short Snort's base, which was also massively impacted by the snowstorm. And they got a cozy little cottage house. I really like it, and I really like the sugarcane farm next to it. A wheat farm, but the main attraction to this area is the massive underground base that they have below. So down here, there's a bunch of tunnels going off. There's a mob grinder, I think, down here. I don't know, it's an endless maze down here, but they got a lot of underground stuff. Oh, this is their strip mine. But yeah, there's plenty of stuff to look around in here. Yeah, here's the mob grinder. You've also got a sheep farm, which has somehow survived all the versions. Sometimes mobs just randomly go missing. This is Kaiser's floating island, and they went for like an industrial skyblock approach to their base. They got loads of farms, a massive mob grinder over here, and down here is another level where they kept animals, but they've all vanished, and also a birch farm. This is a very interesting approach to a base, and if we go up here, we can also see something weird, which is bedrock. Now, As I mentioned before, Endermans could pick up bedrock, and Kaiser decided to take an Enderman all the way down there, up here, just to place a bedrock at what was world height. You may have wondered where some of the town people went after Crumbled Town, and through this portal we can see the newish town, which is Cogtown. A lot of people live here now, and I think it's starting to look really good. It is in the works, and apparently people are blowing each other's houses up, but it's a nice vegetation-y type town, kind of medieval-ish. We got this cog in the middle, which is what the place is named after, which is the main wheat farm. Over there I'm building a factory. It looks kind of rubbish right now, but it is going to look good when it's built. But this place I think looks really good. This is Han Solo's house. This is Fox's cozy place, which is a take on the regular village blacksmith. These pesky Endermans are just placing dirt everywhere. This is Andrea Dog's house. I think I pronounced that right, I'm not sure. But they got a lovely interior, and as well as exterior of their house. There's a lot of rooms. You can see which one each one is. We got like a master bedroom. We got like a landing area. And down here, the living room, kitchen, as well as like a book reading place. Over this way, we have a very large house that seems like it's still a work in progress. I have no idea who built this, but looking good so far. And also right next to this. This is just cruel. Over here is perhaps the worst looking house I've ever seen. Sand roof. It's all sand and planks together. And this is Pedro's house. And a grass floor. Too high roof. This checks all the boxes for the worst house. I'm sorry. Down this way we come to my area. And I did a little bit of terraforming. And I built a massive wheat farm because you never have enough bread, I guess. But here's my houses. I've got a storage silo. And over here I have stables. I made it to look like a really urban country, not urban, rural countryside, like farmer's place. I built a farmer's house with a water mill, I think it's called. The thing that spins water around. And this way I have a stables area, which is for pigs, and I placed down a pig spawner. Over this way I have a horse stable. And I did this in 1.6 and it has a bunch of horses in. Now we're going to move away from Cogtown. I'm going to check out this base. I don't know who made it, but I think it's pretty neat, so I'll showcase it anyway. They got a really nice house and it's all built in beta 1.8 terrain. Like a downstairs area, massive window. Down here is a storage system and I think they're mine. And up here they got like a nice seating area with a lovely window. Over here we got another beta 1.8 terrain base with 2 wheat farms, a very classic mob grinder, as well as a mine and some tree farms over here. I think this was all built by a user called Dark Violet. And down in the mines they had a spider grinder, a cave spider grinder. They spent ages on to get all enchantments when enchantments were level 50 in beta 1.8. Or beta 1.9. This cave spider grinder used to produce hundreds of levels in beta 1.9. And that's where I got most of my enchantments from. And that's also how I lost most of my diamonds trading. I think over here is a massive storage system. Yeah, I think most of the string's been moved now though. Then chests used to be full of string. And these are full of eyes. How much there is. This is the Verdian Outpost, which is Curbstagoon's base. I probably pronounced that right. And this is incredibly far out. But this base is like a jungly, like tree base. There's also farms down there. I think it's nice and cozy. But now we're going to be moving on to some of the stuff in the Nether. There is a lot more bases in the overworld, but there's some where I don't know where they are, or I can't fit it into the video because I don't want this video being too long. The first location we're going to look at in the Nether is the water lake, which is very cursed. So as you can see, down here is a massive area of water. And this was done using ice that was collected in beta 1.9 pre-release 4, I believe. Because you weren't meant to obtain ice, and if you broke it in the Nether, it produced water, so we did all this. It's massive. You can also see cursed lava going into water, which is interesting. In the Nether, we have these very large mushroom fields, and these aren't player created, these grew in beta 1.6. I don't know why, but they just kept on spreading, and the whole spawn area just looks like this. It's pretty interesting to look at. Lastly, in the Nether, we got the Nether Town, which ended up kind of being abandoned because it's just me working on it and no one joined it. But I think it's still pretty interesting and I could finish it in the future. And this was aiming to turn the Nether into the overworld. But stuff like gas kept like ruining stuff, ended up moving out. But I built a massive pond with lily pads, got water streams coming down. I have a creeper Nether portal. And this was a big project. Unfortunately, the grass looks kind of dead, but I think it looks interesting. So the water was done with the same method as the other water in the Nether, using ice from beta 1.9 pre-release 4. Now we'll check out the end. So this is the portal room, and this was generated in beta 1.9 pre-release 6. And that was the same version we killed the Ender Dragon. You might also notice there's a frame missing, and that's because I thought I could get a half door by making the portal generate with a door inside, but no, it just broke the portal. So the first thing you'll notice when you enter the end is how destroyed and how much end portal, well, exit portal things there is. And this is because in 1.4.7 there was a bug where you could regenerate chunks of a jukebox. So if you placed it the chunk at 0, it would respawn the Ender Dragon, meaning we could get multiple of these and multiple dragon eggs. So in that version, we basically farmed a dragon. And it's left the end like this. We were going to probably destroy the bedrock eventually though. This here was a dragon farm that was built in 1.4.7. This would have produced millions of XP. And it was operational for a few hours, but then it just broke because of server lag. Apparently this farm's not very multiplayer friendly. But you'd have a minecart and you go backwards and forwards, loading and unloading the dragon over there. And let's check out what's over there. Also, these boats are used so the dragon could chase the player when setting up the farm. These boats are very dangerous now. If there was no platform there, I would have died. So here's where the dragon killing chamber was, and this portal represents where the dragon died. And because of server lag, it died before it could be unloaded. It unfortunately broke this entire farm. And of course, it wouldn't be the end dimension without an Enderman farm. And this is a lot of players' main source of XP. Pretty fast too. And it works by Endermans spawning on pressure plates and getting pushed down. Well, that's going to be it for this world tour. I hope you like the SMP. If you'd like to join, the Discord's in the description. We're always accepting new members. And see you in the next video.